there's a growing push of this story with Derek Carr in the national media, and it's starting to pick up a lot of steam. And I am one who, generally speaking, hesitates to jump to conclusions when we're talking about anonymous sources or this person says that. There's just too much generally in the narrative that's pushed by agents, pushed by teams, pushed by players. And I just hesitate to jump all the way in the pool with stories that are materializing that way. When I see somebody at a press conference talk, we'll talk about it. You see something that goes on the field, like I'm right here. When there's stuff that's bubbling behind the scenes, I'm usually not going to be the first person to go nuts on it. But if you paid any attention over the last 48 hours, you heard Diana Rossini on her podcast with Chase Daniels talking about how she felt like maybe not actually a shoulder injury for Derek Carr. Maybe just a situation where he's pushing a trade. And then Ari Myrov at My Sports Update on Twitter, who covers the NFL, basically echoes that. He tweeted out, there's buzz around the NFL circles that Derek Carr has been wanting out of the New Orleans Saints all offseason. His shoulder injury might be part of that push. Meanwhile, the Saints have been planning to draft a quarterback regardless. We have not heard the end of this. He goes on and says that things feel fishy. There's only one conclusion to this story. Derek Carr cannot be on the roster when training camp shows up. Like, that's the only way that this works. I don't know what the Saints can get for him in the trade market. Usually, teams will play ball for a quarterback to an extent. You're not going to get first, second, third round pick for Derek Carr. I'm not crazy, but you might get something. You might be able to get a sixth rounder. You might be able to get a seventh rounder. You might be able to get something. And yes, it is going to cost you dead money in next season's cap. But this marriage has to end now. We all hope and want the players for our team, whether it's a college team or a professional team, to feel the way about our team that we do. They want to do everything they can to better that team. They want to do whatever they can to make that team win. We want them to take pay cuts. We want them to put in work. We don't want them to go on vacation. We want them to love our city, our team, the way we love our city, our team. And very rarely, like in some instances, that happens. In some instances, that happens. In a lot of instances, it doesn't, because this is a job. That's been the case forever and ever in professional sports. It is now the case in college. But Derek Carr does not care about the city of New Orleans. He does not care about the New Orleans Saints. He does not want to play for the New Orleans Saints. And so having him around brings zero benefit. He cannot mentor young quarterbacks. He doesn't want them there. He cannot produce for the team. He may be hurt. He may not be interested. There is no aspect of Derek Carr that is going to be beneficial to the New Orleans Saints while he's on the roster moving forward, period. So you have to get rid of him. You either trade him or you cut the bait and move on. I talked about this earlier when it relates to the NFL draft. It ties in perfectly to the Derek Carr situation as well. The Saints are not under the gun. The Saints don't have to do everything they can to put a great product on the field in 2025. If you think getting rid of Derek Carr makes your product worse in 25, I don't care. In fact, if your product's worse in 2025, you might be able to draft a good quarterback in the next draft who can play much better than Derek Carr, and you just wait a year to do it. That's perfectly acceptable. But Derek Carr is not, in my opinion, acting like a teammate. He's acting like a jerk. He's acting like a crybaby, if these reports are correct, and he has to go. And yes, that is kowtowing to his wants and desires. But guess what? You've already made the mistake. The mistake was made when he was inked to the deal first, when it was restructured, when it was restructured again. They were all mistakes, and they're all in the past, and you can't fix them. But you can do what's best for the New Orleans Saints organization moving forward, and that is getting rid of a cancer inside this franchise. And there is no question he is that. Look, I have been the last person to get on this train. Hand up. Last person. I'm going to give Derek Carr the benefit of the doubt early on. I thought Derek Carr played through injuries. I thought more often than not, Derek Carr said the right things. I thought at times Derek Carr played reasonably decent football. But this is all trumping that. And you've fired the coach. You've got a new coach in there. You understand there has to be a rebuild at this point. You understand that. If you can get any asset whatsoever for this cancer in your locker room, you do it. If you can't, you cut the cancer out. You move forward. Your worst football team in 2025 with Spencer Rattler playing quarterback or some rookie that you draft with the 9th or 40th pick, your worst team. I don't care. This guy wants out. He does not want to be part of your team. There's nothing that is keeping him tethered to this group. And if you think it's dead money, forget it. That precedent was moved on from when the Denver Broncos said, you know what, Russell Wilson, see ya. And guess what? They went to the frickin' playoffs. You can fix this issue, and it doesn't have to happen immediately. The only thing that has to happen immediately is you get rid of the issue, and then you move forward as an organization without this guy. The fact that this many reporters now have this story, the fact that there were issues around the shoulder injury in the first place, raised some red flags. Look, if you can find a dance partner like the Pittsburgh Steelers who are willing to take this C-tier NFL quarterback and try to win with him in hopes that he doesn't cry like this when you pick him up, fine. Put Spencer Rattler under center, draft a quarterback when you feel it's right. Do your best to try to fill out the rest of the roster and plug some holes where they exist and get rid of Derek Carr. That's it. I've said my piece on the matter. Jordan, I know you've been in this camp for a while.
Oh yeah, I've been operating the train.
What's your blood pressure like when you see these reports now come out over the last 40? Do you even care, or are you just completely over it?
I don't really care no more because it just shows that I wasn't a madman. You know, I used to come on here, I'd be like, man, we got to get rid of Carr. You know, nobody believed me at first. But we, as fans, we seen this phony from a mile away. I'm going to tell you what happened. First and furthermost, you know, he played through the injuries. That's cool. But what we saw was, how can you get hurt in a game and then be immediately ready to go the very next game? Like, you leave a game injured and be ready to go the very next game. That was always the whole Jameis. Can Jameis start? And I'm not saying Jameis is better than Derek Carr. No, these are two, if you ask me, two backup quarterbacks. I don't think Carr's a starter. Like, I'm past that. But from that was my red flag. And then, you know, you wasn't around during the Super Bowl. You never really come around. Nobody has seen Derek Carr out and about in the city. Nobody has seen him at a restaurant. He's in Paris. Yeah, he's in Paris.
He's doing YouTube shows.
Yeah, you know, he's a content creator now with his new paycheck. You know, Mickey Loomis coughed up that money when he didn't have to do that. And now that's what Derek Carr said. Oh, thanks for the money, Mickey. Bring my whole family to all paid expenses to Paris, you know, on our dime. Well, not my dime. It ain't my money, so I'm going to shut up right there. But on the city's dime, I'll say that, on the city's dime. This guy is a fraud. He's a phony. And honestly, yeah, we will be a worse team without him this year, but he wasn't moving the needle like we was going to be amazing. You know, it wasn't like, I
got news for you. Might be okay to be worse this year.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, and I know that it doesn't ring true to anybody, but I'm just trying to speak off personal experience. Like, I watched the Cubs completely tank and get worse. And they ended up with the second pick in the draft, and they took Chris Bryant, and he won the MVP, and he made the last out of the World Series. Like, it's not fun. It's not comfortable. It's not a great thing to do, and the Saints fans haven't gone through a rebuild in a long time. Very long. Sometimes you got to hold your nose. You got to jump in the deep end, and you'll come out on the other end. I can't tell you if it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You'll come out eventually. It's not fun, but it is what it is. And we've known that they had to do this. You got to get rid of Derek Carr. There is no utility for him in this organization anymore. And for those that suggest, well, that's giving him what he wants. Give him what he wants.
Yeah,
go.
Get him out of here.
Get out. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.